with doing work and everything, I'm getting down here really late after work, fishing the night, then having to go to work again in the morning. It's just been a bit chaotic, to be honest. I'm like fatigued, just really tired, and certainly sitting there and watching everyone catch around me, it was really hard. And you're getting in the van on the way home and you're questioning yourself, thinking, am I doing this? Like, is there anything else I can do? Yeah, I'm gonna have no shame in admitting this. I've done 18 to 20 nights on here without a fish, like not even a beat. The more you do something and the more you put into it, the more you get out. That is a fact. So here we are then, we're down here on the Linch Hill Fishery complex, currently sat on the Christchurch lake. We're in August now, halfway through the year, middle of summer, hot weather typically. Fish have got their backs out the water, not really too interested this time of day now, say. But usually it gets a bit cooler at nights and hopefully they get their head down. So we're currently sat in a swim called New Dig. I've moved from entries, just doing a couple of hours up here so far. And not being a go one sheet method, I'm literally just gonna do it here. I've chucked a couple bags out and hopefully, fingers crossed, we might be with a chance of one. So I've been a member now for about 2 years, but this is like my first year then. I took the plunge to do the vlogs. I'm videoing now for Fox. This is the first time they've been here with the cameras, but I've also got my little handy cam and a couple of GoPros that I'm filming myself on. And to be fair, I'd like to say I've had a good year. I've had a few fish, I've had a few out of the bottom end, I've had a couple out of this swim, so I've got a little bit of a soft spot for this one. But bit about my background there, I'm a linear boy through and through. That's all I've done, 3 rods on a spot it up and just wait for it to happen really. The past year and everything, my fishing's taken a bit of a back step, not too much, but obviously your qualifications are forever and everything, and I was really adamant to get those and I'm happy I did. So I've gone from fishing linear 6 to 7 years now, and it just got a little bit repetitive for me. I absolutely love the fishing, don't get me wrong, but I really fancied, like, I needed a challenge. I really needed something to make me want to go fishing. And you know, I come down here and I spoke to Nick and everything and had a look through the galleries and whatnot, and I knew a few people that fished it when it was day ticket and everything anyway. And you see the pictures of the big fullies and the big, like, dark linears and everything, and I just thought straight away, that's a bit of me. I want to do that. And like, lo and behold, it's a completely different style of fishing. You know, I've never done it before. Get in the waders, walk around in the water, look for spots. You can just take your time and proper have a good look about and figure out where you want to go. And to be fair, I've done a lot of that since I've joined here. Like, it's a massive eye-opener for me. Like, I've just used pop-up rigs, hemp corn and boilie, and just almost waited for it to happen. Whereas here, like, you're watching the fish come in the margins and they act so much more different to, like, different fish. And fishing for them certainly been a big challenge for me, and I'm really happy that I've gone straight in, I've got stuck in and done what I've wanted to do. And like I say, this is the first year that I've probably had a good go at it, and I'm really happy with how it's come out. You know, like, it's changed my fishing aspect completely. Like, I'm just not tunnel vision now onto, like, one way. Obviously it does work, but it definitely doesn't work on different waters, and being able to adapt to that has definitely made a massive difference in my fishing. So like I say, I've walked around to a swim called New Dig, currently fishing in entries. I'm gonna see, I'm a little bit indecisive at the moment, to be fair. That end of the lake's been doing a lot of fish recently, and just because you've seen a few up here doesn't mean they're necessarily stacked down, you know, up here or down this end. The only difficult part is there's only me and one other person on, so you've got literally the pick of the whole lake. I'd much rather it was busy and you're thrown somewhere, therefore you've got to make something happen. But we've got the pick of the lake, a little bit more watercraft is needed. I'm gonna go and have a walkabout, a few more cups of tea, and I'll be back to you in a bit. So we're going into the evening now, and I've made the executive decision to go into 4. I've got a pretty good track record in this one, as you'll soon find out. But no, I had the day up there fishing the bags and whatnot. There was a lot of fish up there, to be honest, and as soon as the sun went down, just died, to be honest, not a lot of fish at all. But no, like I say, we're set up in peg 4, rods have gone out perfect, baiting up was really good, so I'm happy with that. And yeah, hopefully we'll have some action tonight, I'll let you know. So, with Linch being a yearly ticket, it starts from April to April, that's the season then say. In that time, I've had a few fish and some mega ones at that as well. So, we'll kick it back to the first one, which was the start of April. I say April, it was actually the end of March. No, I started off in the swim, entries, you know, the lake was really busy to be fair, and I thought, you know, 3 zigs, perfect weather, you can't go wrong really. So, started off with 3 zigs, 6 foot, 8 foot and a 10 foot is what I always do, that's my go-to. And to be fair, nothing. It was dead down there. Luckily, I know one of the boys was getting off in peg 1, so I made the, you know, made the move, got round here. Yeah, stood in there for an hour, and boom, little paps and everything, proper ziggy shows, and I thought, that is the one, that is what I'm gonna go for. And as I'm doing the right rod, left-hand rod just, and I thought, whoa, what's that then? Anyway, tightened it back up, thought nothing of it, tried them all. As I turned my back, left-hand rod just straight drop back, proper zig bite. Pulled into it and it felt really tenchy at start, and I thought, oh, you know, here we go. Lo and behold, I've gone up like this and it's just gone, proper started ripping. I thought, here we go, this is what you come for. Yeah, anyway, it's come up, and it's one called the Patch Common, which went £33. Really distinctive, as it is called the Patch Common. Massive patch of scales missing on its right flank. Proper stunning fish, so I was really happy with that one. Knew I made the right move, and yeah, buzzing. Going back from April then, walking around, and to be fair, I had a few nights, like I've done 4 nights, managed to sneak a bit of time off work and whatnot, and I was struggling. There's no denying it. I done about 12 nights, I think, in the end, without a beep, and not gonna lie, it was pretty demoralising. So one of the swims down there, which is called the Point, and to be fair, I managed to get in there, and I had 4 nights, and I thought, you know what, I'm taking 2 days off work. It's very rare you get to get in there. There's a really nice long spot, roughly about 17. It starts at about 17 and a half, comes back to about 15, and it's just straight, really silty gravel, and you can feel it on the lead and whatnot, where it goes from the gravel to the silt. That is my style of fishing. I like to fish where the gravel meets the silt. There's just that little bit of separation. It's not too clean, but it's not too dirty, if that makes sense. And so yeah, I fished 2 rods on that, 2 little Ronnie rig. I fished a lovely little mob 60mm on it, little trim down on the Ronnie, like I say, and yeah, presentation was perfect, and I thought that was going to be the one. As you look round from the Point then, you get little access to a bay that's just to the left. You can walk round and you can get in a lovely little gap through the reed. You can make out this spot a mile off. I didn't even have to put the glass on, and it was just glowing, and I thought straight away, that's a known spot, it's been fed on, I've got to get a rig on that straight away. Walk round with a handful of bait, and to be fair, proper, I know I've never done it before, tigers in the mouth, chewing them up, felt gross, but chomped for about ½ a kilo, took me absolutely ages. Spat it all out, got it on the spot, and it just, like, you can see it. I got back up in the tree and that, and had a good look for a good ½ an hour. Nothing come through, but you know, the spot was looking perfect. You could see the bait. Anyway, got back to my swim. Night 1 went past, nothing. Night 2, nothing. And then on the 3rd night, I woke up, had my morning cup of tea and whatnot, looked out, it looked mega. Really nice sunrise, little bit of wind trickling down, and it just stopped. The wind stopped and it just went flat calm. And I just heard like a beep, 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 and I looked out with my rods, that so I had a 2 out there and a single down there, and I'm looking thinking, oh no, that ain't me, all that. And then anyway, I looked down to my margin rod, rod's actually off the buzzer, line ain't even attached to the buzzer, and it's just proper out, and I thought, oh, pulled into it like that, and then it's just absolutely gone, melted off, taking line like mad. It's weeded me up, and bless her, I sent my girlfriend to go get the boat all the way around the lake, and as she's gone round the lake and come back round, it's in the net. So my bad, I got it in the net and whatnot, but yeah, it was brilliant. An absolutely amazing looking fish. I think it was 23 pounder, just a jet black mirror, and luckily I managed to get some amazing pictures of that and some wicked footage as well, so proper buzzing with that, and it was a lovely fish. So that was the end of April for me, and now we're into May. I had a few more weekends, a few more blanks. Really struggled to get in some of the good swims, so I just had to slot in and just try and make something happen, to be honest. There was one time really I was in peg 2, and to be fair, I had fish all over me and I just couldn't buy a bite. And then one of my good friends come in behind me and had 2 fish. I was wounded when I heard about that. But that's fishing, you can't help it. Like I say, most of my fishing's like weekends and whatnot, because I work through the week, and I come down on a Friday. This would have been end of May then. Just before they were about to spawn. There was a good 2 or 3 weeks before they were spawning, but there was a few signs that they were, so I thought get down, try and get on the fish. But anyway, got down and it was absolutely rammed. There wasn't a swim free on the lake. So I was a little bit gutted at that, but there's nothing you can do. There's other members and you just got to do what you got to do. So I went on to Willow, and I think it's like the second or third time I've ever fished it, to be honest, and it's a very overlooked water. Don't get there, some amazing fish in there. I had 2 nights over there, and like you see with the footage and whatnot, I was fishing up to an island. I spoke to the bailiff Jono, put me onto a few good pointers, so I can't thank him enough for that. And yeah, first night, not really a lot going on, to be fair. Next morning, 1 rod goes off, get that one in. It's an absolutely stunning mirror, proper little big tummy on it, wicked little bit of linear on it. It was amazing fish. Put that one back, rod back out. About 10 minutes later, bang, rod goes off again. Can't believe it at this point. Full leather and proper like funky looking eyes, diddy pecs, and like a massive slit cut out of his tail. Probably the coolest carp I've ever caught. And the pictures come out really well of that. Put the rod back out and just sat back, and it was another hour really. Then bang, one of the other rods has gone. I thought, like, couldn't make it up. Never, like I said, I've had a couple of sessions on there before, but never really caught. And yeah, I'd like 2 that morning, thought surely not. It was a common this time. And shout out to my mate Dean, he took some absolutely amazing pictures of this one, and proper little kicked up tail and whatnot, and it was proper bronze, just a really cool fish and a true example of what Willow has to offer, you know. Slept that one back and just, yeah, sitting back having a cup of tea really, having a chin wag and whatnot, thanking Dino for the pictures and that. And then as we sat there, rod rips off again. Everyone says Willow's a little bit easier and whatnot than Church and that. Granted it is, but you still got to be able to catch the fish, you know. If you ain't on them, you ain't catching them. And for me, I was just amazed, like 4 fish in the morning, managed to get that one, and it was another amazing little comment. That was my session done on Willow. That was my 2 nights done, and 4 fish. Couldn't really grumble at that, so I was absolutely buzzing. So yeah, that was May done for me then. The little Willow session was done, and back onto Church. That's what I wanted to do. Get back on Church before the fish spawned. And lo and behold, start of June, the fish started to get a little bit more freaky, and they started spawning. So a bit unfortunate really, but it happens every year. So, and Nick made the executive decision to shut it for 5 weeks, and I think it's amazing that he does that, to be fair. Gives the fish a really good go, lets them get everything done that they need to do, no pressure, just nothing at all. Let them crack on and do what they got to do. And during the closure of Linch then, the other obvious place is linear, and to be fair, I'm a linear boy through and through. And me and my little cousin decided to go get some floater fishing done, and we had an amazing turnout really, to be fair. We went on to B1. And lo and behold, we ended up going through about 3 buckets of mixers. It was absolutely kicked off. I think I had about 20 fish in the end, and I think my little cousin had about 15. So between us, we had about 35 fish and about 5 hours fishing. Absolutely hectic, but really good fun at that as well. And I managed to land my surface PB at 38 pound, which was a wicked fish as well. Proper spawned out as well, typically. And I haven't come close to the glorious 40 mark yet, unfortunately, but my time will come, and I am sure of it, and I am told of it very often. Yeah, so I managed to get really good days fishing, to be honest, and Linch was still shut at this point, so I was really keen for the floater fishing. You know, you had a session like that, and I was like mega keen. And then from then, picked him up again, and we had 3 days on the trot of solid good fishing. After this, we went on to Hardwick, so we walked round there, put the buckets out, a few pouches of mixers. Lo and behold, they went absolutely ballistic. I think I managed to have about 15 fish that day, and my little cousin Aidan, he had about 20, so it was really good days fishing again. I think, yeah, we had a few hook pulls, unfortunately, but the ones that we did have were absolute minters. For anyone that does know, Hardwick is home to some very special fish, that being fullies, linears, levers and whatnot, and we had some really good fish between us. But no, we had a really good month floater fishing on linear, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So after spawning, the fish were proper on the munch. You know, there was blokes on here having 2 to 3 fish a session, which is really good going on here. And for me, I come down the first week of July, and yeah, blanked. Never had a beep. So eager to get back. I come down second week of July, and I managed to get in a swim called Peg 4, the one I'm actually sat in currently. Anyway, clipped up to the spot, put the rods out, baited up, perfect. And you know, sat back and just thinking to myself, yeah, the rigs have gone out, bait's gone out, absolutely perfect, thinking not much more else I can do really. So we're coming into the Saturday morning then, and looking out, having a cup of tea, thinking this looks absolutely bob on. Anyway, get a little liner on the right hand rod, shoot out of bed, thinking here we go. Just anyway, pulls back up, just rests back where it was. Fair enough, whatever, little liner. Anyway, 30 seconds later, bang, absolute one toner on the right hand rod, run out, no socks, no shoes, nothing, straight in, getting stuck into it, and yeah, managed to get that one straight in. That was a lovely little common. 23 pound it went, and it was a proper worry little one, proper, like, you know, spawned out as well. Just amazing, mega colours on it as well, and looked really healthy as well, which is good. And put that one back, and that was my time for that weekend. Managed to get one, and to be honest, I don't care whether it's £10 or for, like, you know, whatever. They all mean everything to me, these fish, and the work you put in, definitely you get your rewards out, and it's just that little bit more rewarding on here. So back down the weekend after again, really got the buzz at this point, and I managed to set up in peg 6, purely because 4 was taken. I'm not really, you know, I wasn't preconceived to go back in 4. Granted, it would have been nice to get back in there, but I had to do a night in 6. Nothing happened then. There was a lot of fish down there, really. They got on the wind and that, but peg 4 come free again. I was on it, proper bucket straight in, linear style as you say, bucket straight in, and yeah, matey boy went, and I got straight in here. Going into the first night at peg 4 then, not really a touch for me, to be honest. Looked good though. Gone to bed, woke up the next morning, and it is looking absolutely spot on for it. A bloke next to me had 3 that morning, actually, really close in, and it was amazing to see he had some wicked fish as well, really cool ones at that. My mate's rod's absolutely tanked off. We were all stood there, he's out in the boat and that, and he's drifted over me, and yeah, his line's gone through, round, over mine, and all 3, unfortunately, but, you know, that is fishing. You can't help that, like, it happens all the time, you know. And anyway, I've gone right back to the back, and all 3 rods are done, finished for the morning, so that was my bite time over. But yeah, he got the fish in this one called the Pretty One, and it is an absolutely insane fish. It's just start to finish, just as a whole, an incredible fish. And to be fair, to see him catch that and you see it on the bank, like, in general, was absolutely amazing. And, you know, shout out to Dibs. Yeah, brilliant, mate. And after that, I've gone to the shop, you know, had a freshen up, been and had a Macca's, obviously, brought some new braid, spooled all the rods back up, all the rods are clipped back up, ready to go back out on the spot again. So I've had to do all my rigs again, and this time I put a hinge out. So it was one I had tied in my rig box, so I put a hinge on and 2 Ronnies with your washed out pinks again, and yeah, we sat down, had something to eat, a few laughs and whatnot, proper good times. And the next morning, clockwork actually, 9 o'clock, right hand rod is just absolutely beamed off. There's just something about that right hand rod, and that is what I got my money on tonight. So the right hand rod tanked off, 1 toner, pulled into it, especially like your fishing braid as well. There's no mishaps for that, it is just straight gone. Yeah, playing it in, and to be fair, it doesn't get weeded up the whole way in. So I'm playing it in, and it comes very close to the net, this fish, and I'm pretty sure it's one they call black eye, which is the right time of year, a mid 40-pound fish, but after spawning, it's still comfortably a 40-pound fish. So yeah, to see that, and yeah, it's come to the net. My mate Dibs has gone to net it and that, and with that, it's just gone. It's just absolutely tanked right at the net, proper splashing away in that, and it's weeded itself, just stuck his head right in a ball of weed. And to be fair, probably a good thing, to be honest, saves it scrapping at the net and whatnot. So I've gone out in the boat, I've looked behind me, there's about 10 blokes behind me, and I'm just thinking, oh, this proper nervous. But anyway, toying with it, pulling it up and that, and it's coming with a weed, and then all of it gets sudden, it's just going straight back in. Pulling it up again, and it's just straight back in. It knew what it was doing, you know. It's a really old gnarly fish, and a proper cool one at that. I'm still pulling the line like this, and it's come up. I'm thinking, perfect. I'm pulling my leader like this, proper like straining like this, and it's come right up to the top. Ball of weed on it. I've gone to grab my net straight under, and it's just gone. So I'm just left with a leader, and oh, I was absolutely devastated. Everyone kind of spurtled off. I think it was a very heated moment for myself, but I kept cool. Yeah, really tricky one for me, you know. You've come in here the previous weeks and you've caught and felt my time had come, to be honest, and the hardest part was seeing it, you know. I saw it, I think I even touched it, putting my hand under the water in the weed, but the hook pulled out, and it's just one of them. That is fishing, there's nothing you can do, and that was it. I had a couple of weeks off after that, purely for the fact of I was broken. like I say, that is fishing. You can't have them all, and I've certainly come back stronger. Yeah, we're here again, we're trying, and yeah, let's hope for the best. So after going into the evening last night, we managed to sneak a quick barbecue in. Really good to have a catch up with Ben, the cameraman. As you can see from my jacket, it's raining quite heavily as well, to be honest. Perfect fishing conditions nonetheless, but yeah, the fish haven't decided to play ball this time, unfortunately. My session will be coming to an end very soon. Ben should be back out hopefully around the end of the year. The fish will be looking banging as well, and hopefully at their biggest weight. What, 27, yeah?
Yeah, bang on.
Lovely, mate. Spot on. Oh, wow, how about that then? 27 pounds of pure Linch Hill Christchurch mirror. One absolutely stunning example of what Christchurch has to offer. Wicked starburst scales on the back of his tail, little orange underneath, and what a way to end the session filming for Fox. First time, like I say, I've been out with him, and what a way to end it. Ben was just about to pack up, the rain's packed up. It was all aligned, to be honest, so I am speechless. I'm absolutely made up. Bittersweet, I lost one the last weekend I was in here, but I'm absolutely buzzing to be holding this one now, so mwah, thank you very much. Oh. Yes. Right, so you join me back down Christchurch then, a very windy Christchurch. It's a different time of year now. We're just coming up to the middle of November. As you can tell, all the leaves are falling off. We're coming up to an end of autumn really, start of winter. My tie's a bit different. I've got a bobble hat on. I'm in a hoodie, not a shorts and t-shirt anymore. Yeah, the fishing's taken a really good spell. I've had a few fish out recently from the swim that I'm currently stood in, the point swim. So we'll stick the kettle on, we'll have a sit down, and we'll go for it more properly, because there is some mega fish to show you and certainly tell you about. So let's do that. So what an absolutely fantastic start to the autumn I've had. I've had some amazing fish and plenty of good fish at that as well. But yeah, we're going back to the end of August. So I was out with Ben at the start of August, had that lovely fish from Peg 4. And then apart from that really, that bank kind of shut up shop, to be honest. Like, not very many fish come out. There was a few anglers having a good few fish here and there, but nothing like, there was nothing obvious that the fish were holding in that space of water. So with doing work and everything, I'm getting down here really late after work, fishing the night, then having to go to work again in the morning. It's just been a bit chaotic, to be honest. I'm like fatigued, just really tired, and getting the rods out at night is, you know, I'm getting it done, but then I'm just absolutely knackered after. I'm just more or less fishing for the weekend. September was quite a quiet month for me. I went on a lovely holiday, and to be fair, it was lovely to have a break and just get away from it all, to be honest. So after I recharged myself and got back off holiday and everything, sorted all the gear out, I come straight back down with the mindset of catching a few carp and getting a few under my belt. And it took quite a while to get into one of the swims that was doing fish, to be honest. And one of my mates was in here before, and he had a fish called black eye, and it was like, yeah, unfinished business for that carp. But seeing it on the mat, it was an amazing fish, and yeah, proper good fish to see as well. So yeah, so I've gone in there after my mate and fishing up to this wee bed, and it's about 7 wraps out from the bank. And yeah, like there's just this, it comes round and there's just like little pockets and that everywhere, but there was just this one alcove that stood out like between the rest of them. It was massive, a proper little bowl in the middle of it. Chucked the lead out, it was really choddy, and then it's just, I felt I could present a bait on it, but then at the back of my head I was like, I wouldn't fish that anywhere else, but that's where the fish have been showing, so I had to make do really. And I made this 15-inch Ronnie, and it was, I know it sounds ridiculous, and I looked at it on the rod and I thought, that just looks stupid. There's no way that's going to work. But to get over the weed and all the chod on the bottom of the lake bed and all that, I thought a longer rig naturally is way better suited. So that's what I've done, and I've been having them on these signature squids, 12mm signature squids, the white ones. They've just been doing the damage for me recently. I've put 2 rods out in the open water, and the open water spot is really, it's gin clear. It's a lovely spot. It's been there, it never really gets weeded over and everything, so I thought I'm going to stick 1 in the margin and 2 out in the open water, as I naturally would do anyway. And then yeah, it was about 9 o'clock really, I had my first bite, and it was a incredible, immaculate 32-pound common. Really brute looking fish, massive shoulders, proper big belly on it. It was just a proper nice way to come back after having a few weeks off and that. And so yeah, it was really good to get that fish under my belt, and yeah, really good start to the session. There was a lot of fish showing in the area, you know, like it was almost like clockwork. I was coming down after work as well prior to this, seeing where the fish were showing, and they were always in this expanse of water here. From the point, you could draw a line from the point over to entries. You just knew as soon as it got dark, that is where them fish would be showing. So yeah, like I say, the confidence was high. First light, there was a few fish showing, so I'm up having a cup of tea and whatnot, and yeah, middle rod's just absolutely bouted off, and I've had this immaculate looking mirror, 31 pound, and it is just orange, purple, just full of scales. It's probably the best looking carp I've ever caught. I know I say that about all of them out of here, but they're just all so special, you know. But this one just really, it's quite a rare fish. It doesn't come out very often, and to take that one off my list, I was ecstatic. And I managed to get some amazing footage, some really good pictures. The boys done me proud, so yeah, that was another amazing fish. So yeah, if it would have ended there, I would have been a very happy angler. I've never come down here before and had 2 fish a session, and I've only ever had 1, you know, and I've always looked at that. If I've had 1, I'm doing something right, and I'm always really happy with that. Going into the Saturday night, Sunday morning, I've had an absolute 1-toner off the margin spot again, and I'm playing it like, and you know, you can tell when it's a decent fish. And yeah, this fish is just, it's beating me up round the rod tip. I cannot gain any line on it whatsoever, and I'm just stood there thinking to myself, oh, this is a decent fish, you know. And like I say, 5 to 10 minutes have gone past, and finally his head's popped up out the water. I flipped my head torch on, I've netted it like this, and God, I've got it in the net, and it's like, wow, this is a mega fish. And it's a common. I've known that, obviously I can see it's a common, but there's a few different ones in here. So you've got Ben's, the Coke can, a few of the other big fish as well, but they're all very distinctive. Anyway, my friend's next to me next door. I'm like, look mate, I've got this beast of a common in the net. It's a good fish. I just can't quite tell what it is. And he's come over, like I say, it's early in the morning, he's stumbled over, and we've got it out on the mat. We've opened it up, and yeah, it's one called Linch's Common. It's a very decorative fish. It's named after an absolute legend, and the way you can recognise it, it's had a name before called the Fagbutt Common, and purely for the reason, as soon as you lift his dorsal up, there's a perfect hole in the top of his dorsal, and straight away my mate's gone, yep, that's Linch's Common. So to tick that one off the list, I was very happy with that, and I managed to, like I say, get some amazing pictures again. The boys done me very proud. Yeah, I was a very happy boy on the way home. And yeah, Linch's Common, what an amazing fish. So yeah, we're into October now, and weather's starting to change. As you can see, all the leaves are blowing past me, and there's certainly been a big change in weather, you know, big winds and everything like that. The weed's starting to die down, but this weed bed in the point just wasn't going anywhere. It was the only bit of weed on the lake, and every bit of weed that was coming down the lake was just adding to this weed here. So the feature just kept getting bigger and bigger every week. And it was the swim to be in, and especially, certainly one that I wanted to be in at the time. But yeah, it was busy, and I've done a couple of sessions up in Peg 6. I never had any joy out of there. I had a session over in Entries, and the fish were there, don't get me wrong, but it's just this weed bed, and I keep coming back to it. a couple of liners there, but quite a slow October for me. Not much happened. I had a few weekends where I didn't have a beep or certainly any action at all, like no liners or anything. So it's gutting really. Like, you're coming down here, I've had to take a few days off of work and everything, and being self-employed and that is quite impacting, you know, and it's demoralising. There's no other way to put it. And certainly driving home, I know it's not a long way to drive home, but certainly for them few minutes that I've got getting home, and that it's constantly on your mind, and it knocks your confidence. It really does. But you know, when you do have those good times and you do catch, it all makes it worthwhile, and you know what you're doing is working. It's just, you've got to look at the bigger picture. You've got to look what can happen when you get in them swims, and that's what always stayed with me. I still wanted to come down here, keep in loop with the lake, which I believe has made a massive edge for me this year. And especially, I've got a very big luxury of living so close to Linch. Being able to come down after work, when I'm working and whatnot, I can come down and just see what's going on, who's catching, where the fish are. And like, you know, if you lived a lot further away, I suppose it is a lot more difficult to do that, but I've got the luxury to do it, so I've got to take full advantage when I can. So that's exactly what I did. With that little flurry of blanking over, I managed to get back down after work and secure the points for him again. So for me, fishing there a month prior, I already know the spots, but no matter how clean those spots were before, I always chuck a grappling lead out just to make sure. Just because it was there a week before, like I say, Christchurch is really weedy, and like, you know, the weed can float anywhere. So if it could come over your spot overnight, I check my margin spot, it's even clearer now. Typically, the boys have been fishing it, they've having a few fish, so it is going to get clearer. But that 13.5 wrap spot that I've been fishing just out in the pond is still really clean. So I've clipped my rods up, got all my rods ready. I've got my stupidly long Ronnie on, and yeah, 2 noodle rigs, 2 wafter rigs that I've chucked out in the middle there. That's just a Manila dumbbell wafter, just trimmed down. I've cut a 12mm in half and just put it on top, so it's in effect a dumbbell snowman rig, if you want to call it. Then it's cold at this point. We're in November, you know, it's puffer coat season. Yeah, 6 o'clock, I've put my hot water bottle on, and if you don't have a hot water bottle, it's an absolute edge this time of year, and I've got no shame in admitting it. I love having it with me. So I've gone to sleep, you know, and I've just had an absolute one toner out of the blue, and you know, still half asleep. I've run out there in my socks. It's not moving. I'm thinking, oh, I'm gonna have to get the boat out, and especially getting the boat out and everything, I personally believe it ruins your chances of another bite. So I'm stood in the water now, no waders on, just in my socks, up to my knees, thinking, right, it's got to come out at some point. It doesn't want to be in there itself. I don't want it in there. It's got to come out. And by the time I'm just stood there with the rod, I'm thinking I've got enough time to put my waders on. So I've given the rod to my missus, I've put my waders on, taking it back, and I managed to get a bit deeper in the water. And certainly when a fish is weeded up, anyone will know this, getting a different angle can certainly help a lot more. So I'm up to my chest then, and then all of a sudden I've just given it one little pull, and it's just pulled free. I'm thinking, brilliant, playing this fish, playing it like under the rod tip and that, because I'm only 7 wraps out, so by the time you've hooked it, it's virtually in the net. And yeah, it's wallowing around under the rod tip, and I'm very funny. I don't like to put the light on until the fish is up on the water and it's ready to be netted. You know, I've always thought they don't like bright lights, nothing like that. So I'm always reluctant to put the light on until the fish is ready to come in. I flick it on just before, then I'll net it. And it's a full moon at this point, and the moon always sets behind the trees here, and it comes through the trees, and it must just be glistening on this spot. And I could just see this big bar of gold just going through under my rod tips now, and I'm thinking, right, it's definitely a good fish here, I can tell. And it's rucking. I can't do anything with it, and like I say, I'm just using the back wind. I'm letting it have a bit, but not too much, and I'm just toying with it at this point because I just can't gain any line. And then all of a sudden it's had enough, you can tell, and I flick the back wind off, do it up, set the clutch, and flip my head torch on. I'm like, that's a decent carp, that is. I managed to get a bit more, pull it back, and just scoop this fish under, and I'm like, oh my God, I can tell, not straight away, but I had a very good idea of what the fish was. And there's a handful of big commons in here, and the handful of big commons, they're all 40-pounders, you know, and I've got it in the net, and I've stabbed it in the floor, just in the heat of the moment, I threw my rod on the bank and I'm like, right, I've got to look what this is. I've got to just check what it is. And anyway, as it's in the net, I'm just stood there and I'm like, wow, I cannot believe it. It's rolled over in the net and it's got this really spiky, distinctive dorsal fin, and it's got a really big paddle and a tiny little one at the bottom. And it's just rolled over and it's just this brute of a common, and it's like, oh, it can't be the original perch because that's unfortunately not in here anymore. It was too big to be the baby perch. And I've given it like my mate next to me, I'm like, Jay, look, come and have a look at this, because he's had it before. I was like, mate, you've got to come and have a look at this. I think it's the baby perch. I'm not very clicked on with the fish. It's bad, really, I should be, but I love that aspect of it, you know, like if you get it in the net and you know exactly what it is straight away, it's like, kind of takes the fun out of it, you know. I like being it, like not knowing what it is, and he's rolled the net over and he's like, that's the baby perch, and straight away I went into meltdown. I was like, oh my God, like it's a known 40. I'm just absolutely shell-shocked at this point. I'm buzzing, obviously not knowing the weight, because it's always been a 40, you know, and I was like, we've got to get it out and weigh it. I've always waited for this moment, you know, and with it being my first UK 40, we've got it out on the map, we've put it up and it went 43.4. And to have all the boys here as well, just to share the moment with, even my mum and dad come down, my missus was already here, she's filmed everything, you know, and just to finally have that moment, you know, like I have waited a very, very long time to hold a 40-pound carp, and especially from here, like Linch Hill and the baby perch, it was just all a dream come true to me.
Oh.
Ready? Face together up.
3,
2, 1.
Oh my God! Get out of him! Oh my God! Let him let it go. Take. Well done, Oh, did you land? Well done, lad.
So yeah, we're all, certainly myself, I was on cloud 9. I was absolutely bouncing off the walls, you know, and yeah, I've gone to bed that night, I've chucked the rod back out, thinking, whatever happens now, it is what it is. I couldn't care if I didn't catch for the rest of the time I was here. I've done what I come to do. I've had a 40-pound carp. That's my year made for me, you know, and whatever comes along now, I'll still be very happy with. But I've gone to bed that night, my left hand rod's gone back into meltdown. I'm still awake at this point, you know, and it's the margin rod again. And it's like, just can't put into words how I was feeling at this point. I'm just thinking to myself, like, all this hard work, dedication, perseverance is just starting to come together now, and it certainly did. I'm playing this fish, and this one was a little bit more, yeah, lazy if you like. It's come straight towards me. It's put up a bit of a scrap under the rod tip. Very boring, I know. And it's just popped up, this common. Like, I'd love to tell you how much it fought and everything, but it didn't. It just swam straight towards me. I had no problem with the weed whatsoever, and I virtually, by the time I hooked it and netted it was done in about 5 minutes, so very boring, but at the same time, I'm still like, I can't believe it, I've got another fish in the net. And I'm looking at it thinking, oh my, like, this is another decent fish again. I'm there just in the water buzzing, like, I can't believe I've got another one. And yes, it was a 37-pound common again, and just before first light, so it was really nice. We managed to get some really decent pictures of this fish, and Jay's done some wicked pictures of it, like just sitting there holding it and thinking, only a few hours ago I was holding the baby perch, and just everything's coming together. All the hard work is just paying off, and I didn't want to let go of it, you know, like I was so happy. And anyway, the fish has gone back, and yet again we're just on cloud 9. Like, all the boys around here as well, like, they're almost as happy as you are when you catch the fish, and that's the loveliest part about it down here. No one's bitter, no one's sour about what you're catching. If I saw somebody else catching, it's amazing to do it. You're there, you're helping, you're goalkeeping, you're watering the fish down. It's just, yeah, that's what I love about it down here. And yeah, Jay's taken some amazing pictures for me, and yeah, that's a £37 common, the one I had after the perch, and what an incredible fish it was. We're into the Saturday day now. I've reeled my rods in. I've gone and had a shower, got a few fresh bits from the shop and that, you know, just sorted myself out really, because as you would have seen from the video before, I got absolutely drenched. I don't know why it's a thing, but I thought 1 bucket was enough, but clearly not. I must have had about 20. But I've always said to myself, if I was going to get a PB, I don't care, I'd have 20 buckets thrown at me, and yeah, I quite literally did, you know, so. But nevertheless, I've regrouped, I've got fresh clothes on, I've showered, and just gone and got some bits from the shop and that, and yeah, I've still got a night to go, so yeah, the confidence was mega high again, like catching and everything. And funnily enough, a year ago, within 2 weeks or so, it was when my dad had the scar out of peg 6 at £48, so it was the same full moon, the same moon phase. It was just like clockwork, if you want to say then, and obligatory, I had to send my missus to go get a Chinese. As I've rang, sorted the Chinese out and all that, you know, my right hand rod's just absolutely bouted off again. And this is the Saturday, like early in the night, and I'm like, I cannot believe it, you know. I've pulled into this fish then, and it's beating me up straight from the get-go. It's really, really doing me over. I'm stood on the bank, I'm getting out, getting my waders on and everything. And then as I'm doing that, all of a sudden, the reel's gone from just zipping to solid. Absolutely nothing. It's just buried itself in the weed. Like I said, with the baby perch, I waited. I didn't want to get the boat out and it eventually come out, but it's got to the point now where I'm stood on the bank. This fish has been in there for 10 minutes, and there's only so much you can pull and get different angles before eventually you loosen the hook and it falls out. And at this point, like, I just wanted to get it in. 3 fish in a session, again, the same as what I'd done before. I was like, I got to go out and get it, you know. And with it being so early on, do I regret it? Do I regret getting the boat out? Slightly, but at the time, when the rod's in your hand and you can feel the fish kicking, you just want to get that fish in the net, you know. So I've gone out in the boat and I've come above this fish then, and it is just, I'm with my leader like this, and it's like, the fish is solid. There's no other way to describe it. It's just not moving. So I'm there with it. I'm toying for a good 5 minutes, just trying to pull it. And then all of a sudden it just pings out my hand like that. And I'm there, I'm trying to pick the rod up and that, and it's all wrapped around the tip. And I'm just spinning thinking, oh God, the line's slacking. Eventually I regain tension with the fish then. And then all of a sudden this fish is just zipping line off me again, just like when I pulled into it. And there's nothing I can do. I'm out in the middle of the pond in a boat. This fish is beating me up. Like, I'm just stood there like going in circles like, oh my God, I better look a right wally in front of everyone. But eventually the fish has got tired. Then all of a sudden this slab of what I can describe as of carp just comes to the top, and I'm like, oh my God, that's another good fish. And I'm there in a boat, like everything's just, you're so compact, and I'm trying to grab my net and there, and I'm like, oh, just in a right pickle, you know. And I go to net the fish and that, and yeah, I get it under the cord, and I just look at it and I'm like, just drop the rod, I'm like, wow, that's another good fish, you know. And I put the rod beside me, I'm just oaring back in at this point, thinking, oh my God, I've got my 3rd fish in the net. This is what I've waited for. This is those weeks of struggling. This is what I've waited for, and I fished to like the top of my capability. I've done everything how I want it to be, and I'm oaring back at this point, just cloud 10, right? I'm not on 9, I'm on 10. I'm coming back. I've got my 3rd fish in the net again, and yeah, I've come back to the bank and I've said to Jay, like, look, it's a big mirror again. Like, it's my 3rd decent fish this trip. And he's like, well, that's the big Simo. And I was like, really? Like, amazed as well. And yeah, it's the big Simo, and the way we recognised it, my dad's had it before, so I got our group chat up, I looked at it, and yeah, one called the big Simo, and it's an amazing fish. It's got some wicked scale patterns on it, proper starbursty scales at the bottom and all that, and that one going 36.14, so another mega fish. Like, it shouldn't be called the Big Simo. It's just an incredible carp. It's wicked. It's a proper brute of a fish. Massive shoulders, proper overslung mouth and that, and that was it for me. I knew straight away as soon as I went out in the boat, I'd ruin my chances of catching another fish. But I put the rod back out after we'd eaten and everything and sorted the fish out and that, and yeah, that was my fishing come to an end really. We come round to Sunday, it was time to go home again, and yeah, I had a McDonald's on the way home, standard, just buzzing. Yeah, and I got home and I just can't come to terms with how good the autumn's been for me, you know. And I know I've probably said it a million times, but I just persevered. I kept doing what I was doing, and I just kept saying to myself, at some point, it's got to happen. And lo and behold, it happened, you know. And I can't stop looking through the pictures now, and I won't stop looking through them ever, you know. The memories are just unbeatable, and I am struggling to put into words, to be honest, because I've waited so long. I hope every carp angler can relate to this, with the work and the dedication you put into it, because as carp anglers, we do make a lot of sacrifices. We do take up a lot of time. We sacrifice weekends, and it certainly takes up a lot of time. We all look back and think, this is what we go, this is what we do carp fishing for. Yeah, I can assure you in many years to come, I will sit back and keep looking through these photos, because I know how much it means to me and how much time and effort I've put into it, and it does become worthwhile. And the more you do something and the more you put into it, the more you get out. That is a fact. The more you're willing to put into something, the bigger rewards you reap. I believe that, and it certainly happened for me, and I still, like I say, I can't put into words how happy I am. And yeah, so we're back in the point now. I'm warm nesting it, and hopefully we should still be in with a chance, but I've gone to bed, I've woke up this morning, and the weed bed's completely gone. It's just not there anymore. We're in 40-mile-an-hour winds at the moment, Storm Debbie I believe it is, and yeah, we're certainly feeling the brunt of it, and yeah, the weed bed's gone. So I definitely think that's been the biggest feature of the end of summer/autumn, and now it's gone. Hopefully it doesn't slow the fishing down, but I'm really happy that I managed to get back in the swim and make the most of my opportunity fishing that weed where the fish were holding, and yeah, before it's gone. And like I say, it's gone now. So for now, hopefully we get a chance tonight, and hopefully I see you in the night, but I'm gonna go stick me and Ben a brew on, and yeah, I'll hopefully see you shortly. That's hot. Wow. So good morning. A very quiet evening for myself/night. Nothing much really happened. Felt confident though, heard a few fish, which is always a very good sign considering I haven't seen anything for the last 48 hours I've been here for. Yeah, quite annoying really, because I'd love to stay an extra night, don't get me wrong, but I've got to go back to work as ever, so yeah, it's not all bad. I've got France at the end of the week, so I'm very much looking forward to that, but shortly I'm going to have a slow pack up, get everything put away properly, go home, sort the rest of my gear out, but yeah, quite bittersweet. I'd much rather be here if you want my honest opinion, but it is what it is. There's always next week, so. So, typically on pack up, the heavens have decided to open, but it is what it is. It happened last time when we was out filming. I've had a mega session. I've not caught, but I've learnt loads. I've understood now the fish aren't in the area. The conditions have changed. The lake's certainly changing. Like I've said before, we've gone from end of autumn now, start of winter. So it's as expected, to be honest. And I'm gonna go home now. I'm gonna reminisce what a fantastic year it's been on Christchurch. I've had some amazing fish, and I can't say one's been better than the other because they haven't. All the fish I've had have been amazing. The cherry on top has been baby perch, and what an incredible fish that is. It certainly doesn't finish here for me. I've got a couple of seasons left on Christchurch, you know. That's not the only big fish in the lake. Please believe me, there is certainly more to be had. So I'm going to bring my rods in now. It's raining. I've got a long walk back to the car park, but for now, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I shall catch you on the next one. Thank you.